Ah, the French champagne.
Whereas A Million Ways to Die in the West is way more of like a cohesive storyline than I thought. It's somehow 2 hours, which I don't know why it is.
Like 2:10 in the after credits.
Well, the problem is that Seth MacFarlane gets, like, for as much as he is a comedian, he also gets wrapped up in like the artistry of filmmaking, right? Like he also admires that part of it. So he also takes the time to have these like beautiful sunset shots and like tries to establish meaningful like human scenes within his narrative. So in that way it felt a little confusing actually, because I went in expecting a Seth MacFarlane movie.
But
and it's not really what I got.
Meanwhile, he's like, let's take the time to develop this emotional relationship between these two people. We want to see them really grow to like each other. And you're like, oh, thank
Seth.
you.
What are you doing, Seth?
Thanks.
I'm like, more farts, please.
Well, both films. That's why I introed with the farts.
Oh,
These films love farts.
I almost turned off my TV at the bonfire fart circle.
What? I killed myself.
No,
It's
I
pretty
couldn't.
stupid.
It's
I couldn't
so
do it.
stupid.
I couldn't. And it goes
It's
on way
so
too
stupid.
long. And
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Eating the beans. Anyway, but then in the other one, he definitely an homage to have them all eating, and then he fart kills himself. That got a huge laugh out of me too. When in Million Ways to Die.
I that one
With
got
Neil
me.
Patrick
But
Harris?
No,
Or-
when that's a funny scene. But
When
no,
he
when
shits himself? No.
he's talking about how all the miners have to cover their
and
food
they
in
fart
hot sauce,
themselves
and
to
they
death.
fart themselves
Yeah.
to death, and he gets up and dies.
It's a great shot too. There's some great stuntmen and stuntwomen doing stuff in this movie, and one of them just like that tumble onto the table, just like as a plank, was brilliant. Great laugh.
Just clears the whole table.
yeah. Which was great because it came.
yeah.
I mean, that moment was effective because it came in the middle of what I think was probably the best piece of dialogue or monologue in the entire movie. His whole like spiel about like itemizing the different ways you can actually die in the West.
Oh, yeah.
That was the other thing
the
too.
thesis statement. Yeah.
Yeah, except that he outlines that, and then the movie ends up not really being about that at all, right? Like there's this through line of the West sucking as a place to live.
I mean, he does have his rattlesnake venom speech at the end, like, "Oh, did you know when you coat a bullet?" Blah blah. So that's a way to die in the West. I guess.
Sure.
Structurally, I think this film kind of crumbles away a little bit when he has his like spirit journey in the wild with the Native American tribe.
Okay, great. And can you please actually fill me in on this, because so my Blu-ray of this has some scratches on it, so I actually can't access the subtitles. They're off.
Oh
So-
no, you missed out because it's actually pretty funny. Most of the subtitles are just the natives chirping him for being a big pussy and not being able to handle drugs.
That's what I figured it was.
And then
'Cause
he
I
responds
do
with
know
Mila
something from-
Kunis. Mila Kunis.
I understood Mila Kunis actually.
Which is about as tasteful as having Mel Brooks wear red face and speak Yiddish. So on the racial sensitivity towards their indigenous population, both films are at a like.
Well, I think he was just making fun of his friend more than he was making a racial slur.
Yeah, of course, but
how did he? Can you just also fill me in really quickly how he spoke the language, and did he know, and how he knew them?
He's he studied. He read books.
Yeah, in his words, he's a nerd asshole who, because he was a loner, he spent all of his time reading books, learning languages, getting really good at math.
Oh yeah, nerd asshole is how he describes himself.
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as he speaks their language, I think they literally say, "Oh, well, you speak our language, so we have no reason not to trust you."
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty clever.
That was pretty good.
He's funny, man.
Yeah, the structure of A Million Ways to Die in the West was great. I really enjoyed the characters. Like I like how it was built, and I liked it didn't like I'm not trying to criticize the fact that it was 2 hours. Like I'm just surprised. It felt like it should have been a 90-minute like fucking quick.
It should have been a 90. There were like, it was a movie where like 50% of the gags land perfectly and 50% of the gags go off into the corner.
Yeah,
all the ones that don't land come from fucking
Painful.
McFarlane.
Yeah.
They're all the duds are just like directly out of his mouth, which
And Charlize.
He has a bit
she's
of that.
not bad.
Charlize is fine, but I feel like McFarlane has a bit of that. Again, speaking of he came up earlier, the Seinfeld issue of like he can't not be smiling a little bit as he's doing his stuff, like his thing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, even if it's underneath his face, as it were.
Yeah.
Underneath his face. Like you can see that he's laughing at himself while he's doing it, and he's not really like doing that thing where you take it really seriously, which is what comedy needs sometimes. So that was a bit annoying. I wanted him to be a slightly better actor. He wasn't bad. He doesn't ruin the movie. He does the thing.
He does
and
the thing.
It's about him being Seth MacFarlane, so it's okay.
Like most of the time, he does the thing well enough that you're like, all right.
Yeah. Liam Neeson is weird. Like that storyline feels very tertiary.
You mean like the main conflict of the movie?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought it was
That's
great.
probably the weirdest part of the whole movie.
You know, he only signed on to the movie because they allowed him to do his Irish accent in it. Or that was one of his stipulations. Yeah.
Was that like he didn't have to try to do any other accent? He could just be Irish?
Yeah,
I think he was
just
the way I sound.
Yeah, he was just tired of doing other accents in movies, and this like there would have been Irish cowboys, so why not?
So why not? That's fair, actually.
I mean, I preferred it to his Irish Portuguese priest that he played in Silence.
Oh, have not seen it yet.
Do not. Do
we'll
not
do it for
do
the
yourself a favor.
Scorsese.
No, I'm going to be sick that week.
Where we compare 5 Scorsese movies for one episode, and you have to watch them all in the week.
And then we kill ourselves.
It's just The Irishman 5 times.
Oh, but that's like 25 hours of film.
Yeah.
25 hours of garbage. The Citizen Kane of the week is